Hello everyone. Welcome back to the Food Forest Homestead. Wanted to give a quick update on how the swales are doing and how the Food Forest is performing. We added a few new fruit trees. This is actually an almond. This is a new cherry that they were bare root that we put in the winter. And I also recently added all of this. So we have a bed here, and here. So we added 4 new beds. This is all grass last year. And we just thought it was going to be better utilized as grow space. So threw down some cardboard and some compost, and then wood chipped, and it added some nice fertility throughout the winter. So that's not what this video is about. The video is about the water flow and how the swales are performing. So let's just follow the water from the catchment area up from the road up here. So all the water flows down the road, splits up the cul-de-sac, and there's my finger, and it flows down this ditch here. So we get it well past our house and get some nice flow. Nice gentle flow is what I like to see. We'll come around and we'll see if we're hitting that overflow sill on this right side. I had to add an overflow sill just on this side, just in the event of a massive rain. So every time this silt catchment fills up, I was piling up that silt and tamping it down right here, because we actually had that blow out the first year. If you watch my first video, you see that berm of the swale was very low, and the water just bum rushed past it. It was nothing for a good gully washer of water. So I added an overflow sill here, dug the silt out from the catchment, piled it up, tamped it down, and so far through the fall, we had some good rains and it held up. So we can kind of follow here. I also, this was originally an overflow sill right here, but right here, this is now going to be an emergency spillway. So I've also tamped this down when it was moist. So this clay soil, when you compact it, when it's wet, it really gets almost rock hard once it dries out. So now if the water does get a heavy downpour, an inch in an hour, we'll have an emergency overflow here. And if we look down the swale, it's beautiful, it's nice and full. Come around here. Have an additional overflow sill here. This is just the primary overflow. We have 2 primary overflows. And we have our second primary overflow here. So pretty close to each other. That way, when the water does overflow, it kind of drifts back here and meanders back into the creek back there. Still waiting. Once we get a good hard rain, I'll follow that water and start carving out another swale back here to catch. So following the water, following. Oh, looks like we have a little blockade of some carbon material. Looks like leaves and some cardboard. That's all right, because we have another overflow here. And this overflow, what's it doing? I don't know yet. I carved out a little piece a couple days ago And let's see. It's flowing here. I don't know where it's going. It was going through here into what's going to be our berry patch. So we'll have berries here, here. We have about 4 beds here that have berries. Also planted a cherry tree, bare root here. It's yet to leaf out. There's a little lower in elevation, so it gets a little cooler down here. So it's starting to bud out, just not leaf out yet. Our little, what is this guy? Our pear, he's hanging on. He's doing pretty good this year. We had to put some cages up because the deer were just destroying all the fruit trees. So we're gonna give them a fighting chance, put some cages up, and they'll do just fine. So this is kind of boggling my mind. This must be flowing underground. We see a little water flow here. I mean, it's coming. It just must be going underwater or underground, which is great. I mean, get that groundwater recharged. That's exactly why we're doing this. So everything else is diverting this way. And it kind of splits here. Let me get on the other side of this. So comes down the swale, hits the hugel mounds. Part of the water is diverted into each of these mini swales in front of the hugels, and the other water is diverted over here to the compost piles, picking up nutrient and depositing it. I also carved out a little piece a few days ago that goes to this cardboard, so I'm hoping to get a lot of worm activity under this cardboard. That's kind of what all this cardboard materials for, is storage for brown material for the compost piles. But I started piling the flatter pieces here just to start getting some more worm activity. So when we go fishing, we don't have to go far to lift up the cardboard and grab some worms, and off we go. So it doesn't look like we've gotten too much rain today, because this area is not full of water. Typically this area would fill with water and would overflow to a couple places over here and flow down into our orchard with more water diversions in front of the berms, in front of those. But while we're here, we might as well get an update on some of the fruit trees we planted. So this is a plum, and finally, after 3 tries in this spot, come on, give me some focus. Give me some focus. We finally have some leaf growth. We did the Ellen White method of planting tree on this spot just to test, and we had 2 damson plums fail. So we just planted this peach. No, this isn't a peach. Don't get me lying, I had to check my sheet. Carla peach. Yeah, it is a peach. All right, correct myself. So that peach is actually leafing out. Our original plum, the first tree we put out here, first fruit tree, is kicking butt. We did some pruning on it, opened it up, vased it, so it's looking nice. Going down to our first row of hazelnuts, it looks like everything died back in the stem, but we're getting some new growth from the roots, so that's great. Added tons and tons of mulch. These areas were kind of neglected last year, didn't mulch very heavily, so over the winter, in the fall and the winter, added a ton of leaf matter to ensure all that moisture retains in the soil. So we got another one there, also with some garlic chives, and our third hazelnut there. So those are kicking butt. And in this second row, some more garlic chives, and this guy, you know, it's wild. I pruned this because it had like a V up like that. So I wanted to train it to one single leader. So I pruned that, and I stuck that prune straight in the ground. And look at there, we're actually getting budding off of that. I just stuck it right in the ground. That's insane. I didn't put any rooting hormone. I didn't do anything. So we'll see if that actually survives the summer. That's just one of my wild experiments that I'm trying. Never hurts to try. I mean, it was no effort at all. Cut it, stick it in the ground, go. Get another peach here. It's doing okay. He's kind of just hanging out. But look at this apple. This apple was really hit hard with cedar apple rust last year, and it's probably the most vigorous growth out of any of the trees we've planted so far. I mean, look at this sucker. That thing is beautiful. Then what we got here? An apricot. Apricot's doing pretty well too. This is it's probably the second best one that's growing. It's the dwarf Puget Gold apricot. So this lady's killing it. She's almost outgrown her cage, so I might have to take this cage away pretty soon. Probably after the season. She'll be big enough to fend for herself against the deer. We got another, I think this is a plum cot. Kind of one of those hybrids. And then our last Georgia Belle Peach. Belle of Georgia Peach. Something like that. I'm terrible with remembering all the varieties of trees I have out here. I got them written down on my site map, but I can't always remember. There's just too much activity coming out here. So this swale is not full, which this is kind of the last swale that would fill up typically in a big rainstorm before it eventually heads off into the woods and then down to the creek. So this is kind of my zone 5 area. One thing that's not been very successful is this nectarine. I think we're finally getting it died back all the way to the roots, and it's getting some pretty bad pest damage. I think the rabbits are really eating this up, which is fine. I mean, I learned, so I might, I put this cardboard down here. I thought it was just not getting enough water, moisture retention, and it looks like it's, I don't know. We're just playing with that one. We'll see what it does. Had to take one of the cages, and the Granny Smith apple, she was started off great this early spring. Had some nice new growth, and the deer, of course, came and munched on it. They love munching on this thing because this is the deer path right here. The deer come right through here. Woo! Come right through here and off that way, or they go that way down to the creek, which is all right with me. I mean, they're having fun. I'm having fun. We're creating a symbiotic relationship in this ecosystem we're redeveloping. Blackberries coming on strong. Looks like I didn't get to come cut out some of the dead stuff, which is fine. Just going to be a little bit of a pain, literally a pain, harvesting blackberries. If you've ever harvested blackberries with thorns, you definitely know what I'm talking about. Cleared out this area. This was a giant pile of cedar and other dead trees, and they cleared out the neighborhood. We ended up doing a massive burn, and some pretty interesting stuff happened. So created a lot of biochar, and these little plants here, I haven't figured out what they are yet. Once they get a little bigger, I'll be able to kind of determine. They almost look like maybe mane tail. I'm not sure yet, but they just are prolific. Everywhere that had a burn of some sort, they just took over. It's kind of incredible how nature just rejuvenates itself this quick. So yeah, just wanted to give you all a quick update. Thanks for tuning in, and don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe. Peace out.